Hey guys, today we're going to have a look at rearranging formulas, specifically the area formula for rectangles. We'll start with this example, and I'll give you a step-by-step process that you need to follow so you can copy that into your theory book. So giving this a read here, work out the width of a rectangular garden given that it has a length of 7 meters and an area of 42 meters squared. Maybe this diagram will help. Now, the first thing that we need to do is note the given information and write the formula that involves both the given values and the missing value. So in this question, I'm given the area and I'm given the length of the rectangle and I'm missing the width. So I need to think what formula involves length, width, and area of a rectangle. Anytime you're given the area of the rectangle, don't assume that you don't need to use a formula for the area. A lot of people think I've got the area already. Why do I need the formula? It's so that you can write an equation. You know what that formula is equal to. So by writing the equation, you can solve algebraically by rearranging to find out the missing values. In this case, rearrange to figure out what the width is. So here's my formula. The area of a rectangle is length times width. I've just put width in red here so that you can clearly see that's the thing I don't know. That's what I need to work out. I do know what the area is and I know what the length is. Step 2 is to substitute the given values into your chosen formula to make an equation. So if the area is 42 and the length is 7, I have 42 is equal to 7 times something. So now that I've got an equation, I just need to work out what the W is. I need to rearrange that equation to get W on its own, and then I'll know its value. So step 3 is we're going to solve this equation. So getting W on its own, right now I see it's being multiplied by the 7. So I'll take the 7 to the other side and I'll divide. So 42 over 7 is equal to W. So W must be 6. Really important to take this next step because a lot of people forget. They think I've done the working, I'm done. Always finish by rereading the question and stating your answer, just to make sure that you really have answered that question. So our question was to work out the width of the rectangular garden, given that it has a length of 7 meters and an area of 42 meters squared. Okay, well I've worked out the width here, but let's put the units of measure on there clearly. If the area was in meters squared, because it was a two-dimensional area, and the length was in meters, when I work out the width, which is also a length, it's a one-dimensional measure, it'll be measured in meters. So my final answer is the width of the garden is 6 meters. Let's have a look at another example. Now this one's a little bit more challenging because reading this carefully, I'm not looking for the length or the width. I'm looking for the perimeter. Work out the perimeter of a square given that it has an area of 25 centimeters squared. Again, maybe a diagram will help. From this diagram, I can see that this is a square, so all of the sides are equal in length. I've shown that by doing these little lines on each of the sides. And I've written down here that the lengths are equal to the widths. So again, starting with step 1, note the given information and write the formula that involves the given value, and we'll find the values needed to calculate the missing value. This time I can't write a formula that involves the area, and it will tell me the perimeter. However, I can write the area formula, and it'll help me to work out the lengths. And once I know the lengths, I can work out the perimeter. So let's do that. The area of a square is length times width, same as the area of a rectangle, except in the case of a square, the length is equal to the width. So I could say that the area is length times length, or simply area is length squared, this multiplied by itself. Step 2, substitute the given values into your chosen formula. So this is going to make an equation. Right now, with the formula like this, I can't figure out what L is, but since I know what A is, I can say that 25 is equal to L squared. And that can be rearranged to get the L on its own, and then I'll know what the length is. So to get the L on its own, it's being squared right now, and the opposite of squaring is square rooting. So I'll square root 25, and that'll give me the length. So I'm solving my equation here. The square root of 25 is 5, so my length must be 5. Once again, step 4, it looks like we've done everything, but reread the question, make really sure that you've actually finished working out your answer. The question says work out the perimeter of a square, and I have an answer that's just a length, so I'm not done yet. The perimeter of the square must be the sum of all sides, and since it's a square, all the sides are the same, so it's length plus length plus length plus length. That's 4 lengths. Now that I know what the length of the side is, though, is 5, that's going to be 4 times 5. So the perimeter of this square is 20 centimeters. 4 times 5 is 20, and I'm checking carefully to look at the units of measure here. I was given the area, which is a two-dimensional measure, which is why it's in centimeters squared, and I've worked out the perimeter, which is a one-dimensional measure, adding up all of the one-dimensional sides around the shape, so it's in centimeters. Let's do some practice now. So I haven't got any diagrams here for you. Feel free to draw your own diagrams if you'd like, but what you need to do here is fill in the missing values, the missing measurements in this table based on the values that are given. So this is for rectangles, where you've given the length and the width, and you need to work out the area. So set up your formula. Area is equal to length times width. In this example, you're given the length and the area, and you're missing the width. So just like we did in the previous two examples, set up the formula, area equals length times width, and you'll need to rearrange that to find the missing value. Okay, go ahead and hit pause now so that you can do that, and hit play again when you're ready to see the answers. Don't skip ahead to the answers, and don't just fill in the blanks. Show you're working, please. I hope you remember to hit pause, because here come the answers. Hit pause if you're not ready to see them. Notice with my answers, for area, the first one, I was given the length and width in centimeters. My area is centimeters squared. But for all of the other ones where I'm missing the length or the width, they are not squared units because they are one-dimensional measures, but the units of measure match the values that I was given. So if I was given centimeters or centimeters squared, my answer is in centimeters. If I was given kilometers and kilometers squared, my answer is in kilometers. Okay, so that's it for this exercise. Please let me know if you had any problems. Otherwise, we're ready to move on.